He kicked his wife out while she was in labor, unaware of her $25 million inheritance, and his new wife works for her. Scream all you want. Die with your baby for all I care. Take your pain and your screaming with you. You'll never ruin my life again. You're nothing to me now. Get out. Those were the vicious words her husband spat as labor pains ripped through her body. Instead of holding her hand, he threw her into the streets. Instead of love, he gave her humiliation and abandonment in her darkest hour. He thought he had crushed her spirit forever, leaving her to suffer alone like she was less than nothing. But what he never imagined was that the same woman he cast out in agony would one day rise in a way that no one could have seen coming. An emergence that would not only shake his pride but also tear apart the very marriage he thought would bring him joy. Sometimes the ones you discard in pain return with purpose. Sometimes the woman you thought would fade into darkness becomes the one whose presence you cannot escape. This is the story of a woman betrayed at her weakest who rose in strength no one could deny. So sit back and enjoy this story, because what happened at the end will make you question what love is really all about. The first contraction hit like electricity through her body. Sarah Collins gripped the bedroom wall, her knuckles turning white. James, please, it's time. We have to go to the hospital. He stood in the doorway, tailored suit jacket slung over one arm, his phone pressed to his ear. He didn't look worried. He looked annoyed. Like she was an interruption. Now, he said, still focused on his screen. Of course it would be now. Really, Sarah? She breathed deeply, bending at the waist as another wave of pain seized her. The hospital. My bag is ready. Just help me to the car. Please. James's mouth twisted into something ugly. Help you? After everything you've put me through? No. Absolutely not. Sarah's eyes widened. What do you mean no? He stepped closer, his voice growing sharper with each word. You don't tell me when to jump. You don't trap me with tears and manufactured timing. I'm finished with this. Another contraction ripped through her. She grabbed the doorframe, sweat beading on her skin. I'm in labor, James. I'm not trapping you. I'm having our baby. He snorted, shaking his head. Our baby? Please. We both know what this really is. A leash. A way to keep me chained to your neediness. Not happening. Please, she whispered, her voice breaking. Please don't do this. James grabbed the packed maternity bag by the door, wrenched it open, and flung it into the hallway. It bounced down the stairs and landed on the front walkway with a sickening thud. Her breath stopped. Scream all you want, he said, his eyes cold as glass. Die with your baby for all I care. Take your pain and your screaming with you. You'll never ruin my life again. James, she cried. Don't. You're nothing to me now, he said. Get out. He shoved her. Not hard enough to seriously injure her, but hard enough to send a message. She caught herself on the railing and felt a rush of pressure low in her abdomen. The door slammed so hard the window rattled. Sarah stood frozen, staring at the wooden door where her hand had touched it 1,000 times before. Another contraction seized her, and she bit down on her lip to keep from crying out. Across the street, a porch light flickered on. A neighbor stepped out in a bathrobe, her expression confused. "Everything okay over there?" the woman called out. Sarah forced herself upright, swallowing her humiliation like a stone. "I need a ride to the hospital. Please." The neighbor hesitated, glancing past Sarah toward the darkened house. "Where's James?" "Inside," Sarah said, her voice cracking. He can't help right now." The woman nodded slowly. "I can call you a cab, dear." "Thank you," Sarah whispered. The neighbor vanished inside. Time seemed to stretch into something impossible. A cold wind moved through the streets of Nashville, touching her sweat-dampened skin. She tried to remember the breathing techniques from the childbirth class, focus on the breath, focus on anything but the pain and the fact that the man she married had closed the door on her. When the cab arrived, the driver took one look at her and immediately got out. "Hospital?" he asked gently. "Yes," she said, sliding into the back seat. "Please. Fast." The driver didn't speak much. He just drove carefully through the nighttime streets while Sarah pressed her forehead against the cool window and let the tears fall. When they arrived at the hospital, he helped her inside. The triage nurse took in Sarah's condition at a glance and moved into action. Within minutes, she was in a labor room, monitors attached to her abdomen, machines beeping with the rhythm of her baby's heartbeat. "How far apart are the contractions?" the nurse asked, her name tag reading Patricia. 2 or 3 minutes, Sarah managed. "Maybe less." "It hurts?" "First baby?" Patricia asked, scanning the doors for a partner who wouldn't be arriving. "Yes." "And I'm alone?" Something in Patricia's eyes warmed. "You've got me. I'm staying right here with you." Hours blurred together. Labor was a force of nature that reduced everything to the rhythm of pain and breath. Nurses changed shifts. A doctor with gentle hands introduced herself as Dr. Reeves and checked Sarah's progress. "You're almost there. You're strong." During the quiet moments between contractions, memories surfaced, sharp and cruel. James's voice when he used to make her laugh. His hands on her shoulders the day he promised forever. When had it all changed? When had love become a game she didn't know they were playing? Her phone buzzed on the bedside table. She looked at a text from an unknown number. "He's with me now. Focus on your situation. Let him go." Sarah turned away from the phone, fresh tears running down her face. Across the city, James stood in a sleek apartment that still smelled like new money. His colleague, Diana, leaned against the kitchen counter, beautiful, polished, her hair perfect even at 2 in the morning. "Is she gone?" Diana asked. Finally, James said, pouring himself a drink. "She'll be fine. She's always been dramatic." "You pushed your wife out while she was in labor," Diana said flatly.
Happy hi bestie. If you enjoyed this story so far, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment where you are watching from. Enjoy!
"She's not my wife anymore." "Not in any way that matters," James replied. "She's a liability. This past year has been a circus. Mood swings, tears, accusations. You saw it yourself." Diana studied him, tucking away everything he said. "When do we go public?" "Soon," James said. "Once she's handled." "Handled how?" Diana asked. "Her mother's already on board. She'll tell everyone Sarah was unstable, that the pregnancy hormones made her irrational. People believe what they want to believe, especially when a man who looks like me confirms it. Back at the hospital, Sarah's world narrowed to the moment, to the rhythm of her body's work and the nurse's steady voice. Hours turned into the deepest part of night. When the edge between pain and endurance blurred beyond recognition, she asked for help. They gave her medication that softened the fire but didn't stop it. Between contractions, she whispered names she had loved since childhood. Names she had imagined for this moment when the world felt safe. The door opened. A social worker whispered something to Patricia, who nodded and left briefly. When she returned, her expression had shifted. "Your mother is here," Patricia said carefully. "Do you want to see her?" Sarah's first instinct was to say no. Her second was softer. "Okay." Her mother, Elizabeth, entered wearing a tight expression and an expensive perfume that seemed out of place in the hospital room. "Sarah," she said, her tone flat. "You look exhausted." "I'm in labor, Mom," Sarah said weakly. Elizabeth settled into a chair like it might contaminate her. "I know. James called me. He's very worried about you." Sarah flinched. "He called you?" "He threw me out of the house." "He said you were screaming," Elizabeth replied. "You were creating a scene. You know how you get, Sarah. Your emotions frighten people." Sarah stared at her mother, searching for some flicker of maternal concern. There was none. Just judgment wearing a mask of worry. "We need to discuss the baby," Elizabeth continued. "James has a stable home. A good job. You don't even have a plan. Perhaps temporary custody would be best, just until you're settled." "You're taking his side," Sarah whispered. "I'm being practical," Elizabeth said. "You could have tried harder with your marriage." Patricia moved closer to Sarah, placing a protective hand on the bed. Sarah felt her lips tremble. "Please leave," Sarah said quietly. "Excuse me?" Elizabeth's voice sharpened. "Please leave," Sarah repeated, her voice growing stronger. "You don't get to sit here and call me unstable while I give birth. Not tonight." Elizabeth stood, clutching her purse. "You always push away people who care about you." "Leave," Sarah said again. After her mother departed, Patricia squeezed Sarah's hand. "Listen to me. You are not crazy. You are not dramatic. You are in labor and you are brave." The word brave landed somewhere deep inside Sarah and stayed there. Hours later, a cry split the air. The room moved quickly, gently. The doctor placed a small, furious human on Sarah's chest. Sarah sobbed, laughter tangled with the tears. "Hi," she whispered. "Hi, baby girl." "Hi." The nurse smiled. "What's her name?" Sarah swallowed, thinking of all the nights she had whispered possibilities into the darkness. "Olivia. Her name is Olivia." When the morning light filtered through the hospital window and Olivia slept in her bassinet, Sarah reached for her phone. Messages filled the screen. Some from strangers, some from old friends. One from James's social media announcing his engagement to Diana, praising her as the woman who finally understands me. The lies had already begun to spread like poison. By afternoon, people Sarah had known for years were repeating the narratives James had crafted. She was unstable, irrational, a victim of her own emotions. But Sarah held a secret that no one knew. 6 months later, Sarah sat in a lawyer's office in downtown Nashville. Papers spread across the mahogany desk confirmed what she had kept hidden. Her late father, a successful businessman, had created a trust fund, $25 million, set to transfer to her on her 25th birthday. That day had been 3 months before she met James. The trust was irrevocable. It was entirely separate property. And it was legally untouchable. Your father was brilliant, the attorney, Marcus Thornton, told her. He anticipated situations exactly like this. This money is yours alone. No one can claim it. No one can touch it. Sarah nodded slowly, her heart steady. Then I want to make a move. What did you have in mind? Marcus asked. I want to buy his company, Sarah said simply. Quietly. Using shell corporations and holding companies. I want to become the anonymous investor that frightens him. Marcus smiled. Now that, he said, is something we can arrange. For the next year, Sarah worked methodically. She cleaned houses, worked at a diner, and through Marcus's careful guidance, invested her inheritance into acquiring shares of Bennett Technologies, James's company. She did it quietly, hidden behind layers of corporate structure that revealed nothing. James, meanwhile, began to notice trouble. Partners pulled out. Investors grew nervous. A mysterious investor began acquiring massive blocks of stock. He didn't know it was her. A charity gala filled the grand ballroom of Nashville's most prestigious hotel. Crystal chandeliers cast golden light across marble floors. The city's wealthiest and most powerful mingled freely. James stood at the center, his hand on Diana's waist, his practiced smile firmly in place. Then the music faltered. Heads turned toward the staircase. Sarah descended slowly, each step deliberate. Her gown shimmered like liquid silver. Her hair was swept back, her face serene. No longer the woman abandoned in rags, she carried herself like a queen reclaiming her throne. The crowd gasped. Whispers flew. Is that Sarah? She looks incredible. Didn't he leave her while she was in labor? James's glass slipped in his hand. His face drained of color. Sarah walked to the center of the ballroom and waited for the music to fade completely. Good evening, she said, her voice calm but commanding. The chatter died. I hope you'll forgive the interruption, but I have an announcement. She made eye contact with James. For the past year, an anonymous investor has been quietly acquiring shares of Bennett Technologies. Tonight, I'm revealing myself. That investor is me. Sarah Mitchell. The room erupted in gasps and whispers. My father left me a trust. $25 million. Completely separate property. Irrevocable. Legally untouchable. Sarah's voice was steady, certain. While you were mocking me, spreading lies, I was investing. Quietly. Patiently. Tonight, I hold controlling interest in this company. Marcus stepped forward, handing her a folder and a remote control. Sarah pressed it. Screens around the ballroom illuminated with documents, emails from James's own account, discussing how he would gain control of her inheritance after marriage. Messages to Diana about managing Sarah's mental health to obtain custody of their daughter. Bank records showing payments to Sarah's mother in exchange for damaging testimony. Then came Diana's emails to James's rivals, offering insider information about the company. The betrayal was laid bare for everyone to witness. James staggered backward. You had 25 million, he stammered. And you never asked, Sarah said coldly. Because you never loved me. You married me for what you thought I had. You didn't know my father was smarter than you. Smarter than anyone you've ever known. The board chair, a woman named Evelyn Torres, stepped forward. As of this evening, Miss Mitchell holds controlling interest in Bennett Technologies. Effective immediately, James Bennett is removed from all positions within the company. The crowd erupted. James fell to his knees, his face twisted in shock and fury. Diana slipped toward the door, but people whispered as she passed. She disappeared into the night without looking back. Elizabeth, Sarah's mother, tried to follow but was blocked by relatives who hissed accusations at her. She shrank away, mortified. Sarah looked down at James one final time. Betrayal always circles back, she said quietly. You taught me that. She turned and walked through the parted crowd. Heads bowed as she passed. Outside, in a waiting car, her daughter Olivia slept peacefully. Sarah kissed her child's forehead gently. We're free, she whispered. We're finally free. The car pulled away into the Nashville night, city lights glittering like stars above them. Sarah Mitchell had not risen because she destroyed her enemies. She had risen because she rebuilt herself. And nothing, not betrayal, not lies, not even love lost, could ever take that from her. Sometimes the ones you discard return with power. And sometimes that power comes not from vengeance, but from remembering who you always were.
Hi bestie, kunyafu hivi kumyeshawa uruang. If you enjoyed the story so far, don't forget to like and subscribe for part 2. Comment where you are watching from and I will reply with my favorite emoji. Thank you.